right, everybody, welcome to the Fresh Jive podcast. We are now in episode 7, and I have two very special guests joining me today. We got first as my co-host, we got Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie, welcome.
What it do, baby?
And the guest of honor today, we have Miss Neha Iqbal, our first female guest on the Fresh Jive podcast. Neha, welcome.
Thank you. I'm appreciating you having me as your first female guest.
Absolutely. You're the first person to say yes, actually.
It's true. Everyone else said run.
The first lady of Fresh Jive podcast.
Yes. I've had, full disclosure, full transparency. Several other ladies have been asked. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, no, I'm running away.
Honestly, Neha, when I thought about, hey, what girls could I have on here, honestly, you're such a well-spoken, articulate, and fun person, right? Aww. And so that's why I was like, man, you'd be perfect on here.
Thank you.
Right?
Thanks, May.
What about me, May?
Jay Boogie, Jay Boogie and I have a long storied career of me trying to get you on videos. We kind of talked about it right before we started recording. Jay Boogie, for one, I love you, big man, right?
Love you too, brother.
And, of course, thinking of you on here, it's just going to be fun, And so that's the thing. I like this whole format of, having like a guest and then having a co-host, right? And I was like, okay, cool. If I'm going to have Neha, perfect. I mean, the only co-host that came to mind, Jay Boogie, was you. Right?
Oh, the one and only.
So and Jay Boogie, man, I'm never gonna let you forget about this thing. You told Neha a little bit about our hip hop dance video, right?
I did not think this was real.
You and Sami Razak left us hanging. Sammy Sam, shout out to you. So basically, we let out an invitation. Me and Ahmad Doggy Dog were going to do a dance video. This is hip hop video, and we said, "Hey, we're shooting it at Ahmad's place. Who's down?" Jay Boogie was like, "Yeah, I'm down. I'll be there." Sammy Sam said she's down, and then the next day, I think we gave a week's notice.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah, and then we were like, "All right, we're shooting." I was like, "Jay Boogie, where you at?" So Jay Boogie, what happened that day, man?
It's just this is back in the Facebook days, you guys. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't think it would be. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is like that hip hop video where it's like an older lady, Caucasian. Like, this is hip hop. This is hip hop.
Jay Boogie, don't worry. I'm gonna have it on the screen right now for people to see. And there's a link for people to watch it attached to this thing. But yeah, Jay Boogie, you would have been down in YouTube Hall of Fame, memorialized for life. But we gave you another chance to come join us over here today.
Back in time, baby.
I'm so glad you believed it was real this time.
So, Neha, talk to me real quick. How did you and Jay Boogie meet in the first place? How did you guys become friends?
Oh my gosh.
Take us back.
It was some point in high school. Jay went to Creekside. I went to Woodbridge.
So we're putting each other on blast. All right. Okay.
Jay was in the Irvine area.
Okay.
I was at Woodbridge High School. And we just crossed paths, and we just had the same kind of friends, and eventually at some point post high school, actually, we just started hanging out a lot more. And he's just one of the realest, one of the best people I've ever met. He's definitely my best friend after my Rose.
Shout out.
Just
that's not what she said when we were driving here.
He's definitely my best guy friend that I can go to with anything in the world. And I know he's always got my back. So, awesome. And it all started from just kicking it in high school.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jay, does that line up to your understanding?
Yeah, kind of close to it. So I think we met towards the end of high school. Mm-hmm. So I think our senior year, we still didn't hang out and stuff. I think I hung out with your brother a little more. Yeah. Because when I was going to this unnamed school.
In the Irvine area.
Right
behind Woodbridge.
In the Irvine area. I actually used to hang out with a lot of your brother's friends. Yeah. So I think I met you through them and some mutual friends. And since high school, we've been kind of locked in, and I think more towards when I started when you moved out to LA.
It's actually when we really became bona fide friends is Radio Shack. in college.
Yeah, that was.
What happened with Radio Shack? How's Radio Shack?
Go ahead, they're not
Shout
in
out
business.
Radio Shack.
Shout out Radio Shack.
Shout out Radio Shack.
Brick and mortar locations.
One of the reasons they're not in business is sitting right here.
Well, there's a few businesses that have been on the skirts because of you two. Shout out Wells Fargo. And we'll get into that too.
No, I was in college and I was about to go study abroad and I needed an adapter for European adapter. So I go into Radio Shack. I didn't even know Jay worked there.
No.
I just walked in there and I see Jay and I'm like, oh, what's up, Jay? And he's like, what do you need? And I'm like, this is what I need. And he like pulls up like 2 or 3 of them. And I'm like, perfect, thank you, I only need one. He's like, nah, just take them both. And I was like, okay. And he's like, no, take them both. And I'm like, huh, what? And he's like, walk out of the store, Neha.
Jay.
Shout out to Radio Shack.
Ooh, what's the statute of limitations?
Making friendships happen.
I'm like, what? I'm like, no. And he literally shoveled me out of the store. And that was my first time robbing something.
Man.
And then I was like, you know what? What's it called? Shoplifting?
Yeah,
you made me shoplift.
I think assisted by aided and abetted.
I think it wasn't a plastic bag, and I printed out a receipt, so it kind of worked out.
He protected me, but I still was like, this is very bad. But I was like, I think I like him as a person. He was looking out for me, and then we just became closer.
Jay, so how many other
shout out to your boy. Let me know if you guys need Radio Shack batteries, AC/DC converters, HDMI cables.
All right, so awesome. So you guys have had a long time friendship, right? So that's why, honestly, Jay, you're perfect to come join us as a co-host for this. We're basically gonna do a quick deep dive, Neha, into your life. I mean, and kind of the overall theme that I wanted to, kind of explore with you was, balancing your career and family and, all the things you've done along the way.
Yep.
All right, so talk to us. Talk about let's talk about your early life first of all. Have you lived in Irvine your entire life? When did you? Let's take us from the beginning.
Okay, so I was born in London.
Okay, is that where that accent's from?
Yes, actually. That's where my accent's from. It's very regional. So I was born in London. My dad was a banker, and he used to move around a bit. So we moved from London to Luxembourg when I was 2 years old, which I don't know, people don't know where that is, but it's like a tiny country in the middle of France and Germany. And actually my first spoken language, which I was fluent in, is Luxembourgish, which is like a combination of Franco-German, it's its own thing.
Wait, can you still speak it now?
Yeah, can we get a hint of that?
I can't say I know anything. I only remember was ist das, which is what is this?
Is there an accent to this?
I'm like a German accent. It sounds very German, but it has a lot more French into it.
Got it.
Man, May, could you imagine Neha with a German accent?
No, I couldn't actually.
So think about that. So I went to school in the local schools and I was taught in Luxembourgish and I was speaking it. Obviously, English and Urdu were being taught at home, but my first language would be Luxembourgish.
That's amazing. I had no idea about that.
I know. Yeah. It's so weird, right?
So then how long did you live there?
Until I was 5 years old.
Okay.
At which point my family decided to move back to Pakistan.
Okay.
And so I moved back to, actually first to Lahore for a few months, which, sorry, Lahore people, but my parents hated it.
Oh. Wait, where are your parents originally from?
From Karachi.
Oh, Karachi, dirty South, Pakistan. Let's go. Let's get it.
So we didn't last there for very long. And less than a few months, we were out of there. We went to Karachi and I lived in Karachi then till I was about 14.
This is probably a question that I should have for your dad when he comes on the podcast.
Yes.
But why did he choose Lahore if they're originally from Pakistan? Karachi.
Well, it actually was my grandfather, my mom's dad. He asked my mom to come back because he wanted to put up this factory that he wanted my dad to take over and run, and he wanted to do it in Lahore. And then before the bricks were put down, my dad was like, I'm not living my life in Lahore. And then he was like, I'm not going to do it if you make me live here. So he convinced my nana to move it to Karachi so we could go back there.
Oh, okay, got it.
But yeah,
Okay, and you were there till 14.
till I was 14.
Okay, and then what happened at 14?
We used to come here every summer to vacation and all over America and Europe. That was like the thing that my parents would do. We were very blessed to be able to do that. And we used to hop around. And at some point, my dad purchased a home before we moved to America. I think I was like 12 in Foothill Ranch, which one of his best friends used to live in Foothill Ranch. He bought this house over the internet in the 90s.
Wow.
Like he never saw it. He just had his friend buy it, and it was like going to be our summer home for California.
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
so we have this place, and me and my siblings are like, this is amazing. Like we have a home in California. Now we can like stay there. And we didn't realize we're Pakistani. We didn't know that my parents were going to make us like a vacuum on vacation.
Yeah.
But anyway, so eventually this summer when I was 14, we came here and then we just didn't go back.
What about the visa process about all of that?
No, my parents decided like that summer that we're moving.
Yeah.
And he applied for an L1 visa, a business visa, and he got it approved.
Okay.
And the American embassy in Pakistan had been like pushing my dad to be an immigrant. He was like, they were always like, why do you keep coming here for tourist visas? You guys should just move there. You're like a perfect,
Perfect
candidate
person. Yeah.
to do it. Anyway, my dad finally was like, I'm not going back. And we're like, excuse me, like I need to go home. Like we're at the age where we're like friends matter. Like I was like,
Of
my
course. Yeah,
it's like high
stuff's
school
back
days.
in my room. Like I'm
Yeah.
not staying here. But I mean, it was what it was. We got the L1 visa. My dad invested and he started a business here and was still kind of running his business back home. And then I basically ended that summer vacation and started high school in America.
What a huge change.
It was very intense.
And what year was this?
In 2000.
So, I mean, this is kind of pre-social media days, it's internet days were starting at that time.
It was a little bit.
You
so
know,
we
I
had
mean,
like MSN Messenger and like AOL.
AOL.
So I
Shout
did-
out to AIM.
Yeah, AIM.
What was your screen name?
It was very stupid.
Let's hear it.
It was Neha Lee.
J Boogie, AOL Instant Messenger screen name?
I had a couple of them, but let's go with the one that was spelt out a little weird, but it was Psychotic Illusion.
Oh, wow.
That was my and one name back in the days when everybody used to have a little.
Yeah, I got it.
I
Psychotic.
definitely had a few weird ones over the years. but
well, I mean,
I'm gonna
just
forget about those ones.
just a little tidbit. My AOL Instant Messenger screen name was Fresh Jive.
Oh.
Oh, I love it.
Hence
Shout
the
out
name.
to Fresh Jive.
Yeah, you know.
That's fun.
So wait, Neha, so what were the other ones that you had?
Okay, so I was am a huge Mariah Carey fan. So I had one called Honeybee Fly.
Okay.
'Cause I was her fan club's name, which I was a paid member of.
Wait, hold on. Does Mariah know about you?
She should.
Were you the president?
She's gonna say I don't know her.
What's your favorite Mariah song?
That's such a hard question.
Top 3.
Okay. Emotions, Vision of Love, and Honey, the remix.
Ooh, the remix.
Yes.
All right.
And by the way, you guys, I just found out I've known Neha for a really long time. We went for her birthday, a couple of weeks ago? We went karaoke. I did not know that this girl could sing.
Oh my God.
I did not know she could sing.
I think the viewers of the Fresh Eye podcast want a little sample real quick.
I've actually lost my voice.
Oh.
So no thank
Oh, how
you.
convenient.
Oh.
I'm on vocal rest from my... I'm just kidding. No, I really did lose my voice, and no, you don't want to hear it, and I'm not going to do it regardless.
I think I have some footage from that night at karaoke.
Yeah, we'll get a little snippet.
I think we'll put a snippet up right now. Okay, no. So Neha, going back.
Okay.
I mean, that's such a huge change at that age,
It
you know?
was very dramatic.
And like you said, you still had your room and stuff because you guys were just thinking it's another summer
We
vacation.
literally were gonna go back home. I didn't say bye to my family, my cousins. Like everybody was back home. My grandparents. Like
When was the next time you visited back to Pakistan?
it wasn't that long after.
Okay,
it was
so
it was just like literally the next winter. Like we had winter break and we were back home, but it had been
Yeah.
now like 8 months since we've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
home. So it was a little bit of an adjustment. But like I never had like culture shock because we weren't really like, we had been exposed to America and Western culture so much. I mean, I was listening to all the same music kids in America were listening to back home. I was following all the same celebrities and the movies. I mean, Mariah's obsession started when I was living in Pakistan, practicing all the dance moves in my room like any other kid would. So that part wasn't strange at all. It was just like a huge change that you need time to really like process.
How good was your English at the time when you came?
English was my first language then. I had lost Luxembourgish. Urdu was like a conversational language. My parents always kind of spoke to us in both, but primarily in English. And then my schooling was in English. And I went to like, you know, English, very, very heavily English taught schools. One of the schools I went to for middle school was like one of the oldest schools in Pakistan. It was like established by the British before when they colonized. So it was like very, very like we were learning things that were being taught in the UK system. So it wasn't like I felt behind when we came here. What's up?
Let me ask you this. When you first moved here or when you were transitioning from moving over here, did you ever have a time where you had like a very embarrassing phobby moment? I know I've had one of those.
Oh my God, I will tell you, it was humiliating, okay? It was.
Let's hear it.
I still think about this and want to die. And it wasn't because of me, okay? I had, at the time when we moved here, I was into like having shorter hair. So I had always, I've always had hair that grows like a chia pet. It's always long. I had started cutting it to my shoulders. So school was starting. New school, new country. Don't know a single person here.
What grade would it be? Freshman year?
It would, literally.
So
freshman year,
freshman.
high school freshman.
But you didn't start in the middle. You started from the beginning.
I was starting from the beginning.
Okay.
So it was going to be, just coming in with all the other freshmen. Yeah. So I wanted to get a haircut before school because I just wanted to freshen it up. My mom is like, I'm sorry to my uncle for putting you on blast if you see this ever. God forbid you don't. But he was a hairstylist in California.
Oh, man.
And my mom was like, okay, like, we'll go get you a haircut. No problem. So she drives me. He was at this, like, salon in Costa Mesa. We, like, drive there. And I tell him, like, I just want to trim it up and get it fresh. I don't know what he did. But I heard he's notorious for this. I'm kind of mad at my mom for taking me here instead of any other salon because he used to mess with his sons and like give them weird haircuts all the time. He gave one of them like a mohawk and made him go to,
God.
He didn't give you choices. And he's actually a really good stylist. Like I've gotten haircuts from him since. Like I forgave him for this, and he's very good, very talented. But that day he cut my hair into this like super short, like 90s, like.
Oh, he gave you a helmet.
Like haircut. A Tony Braxton type short?
No, he gave him a motorbike helmet.
Like a weird short haircut. And I remember looking at it after he was done and I had tears in my eyes. And I had school at a new country 2 days later. And I looked like a little boy.
Neha, do we have pictures of that?
I have destroyed all evidence of this.
Neha, it'd be perfect to throw it up on the screen right now.
Right here. We're going to have to hit up Shabnam.
I literally would not let anyone take a picture of it. I was, if anything, like traumatized me from this move to this country, it was this, okay?
And then now
I don't know how to style my hair yet. Like I'm 14 years old. Like I'm just like used to like just doing whatever I know, right? I'm fresh out of middle school and I don't know what to do with it. So I go to sleep and this hair decides to like stand up in the morning. And now I'm crying because I don't know what to do when I have to go to school.
First day of school?
With like this weird hair.
Well, I mean, the positive of that is that will be your first impression and people will just think that's normal for you, right?
That's basically. So I like wet it. I like try to calm it down, but I look like a crazy fob person showing up to school and I'm like begging my mom. I'm like, Mom, like you can't don't make me go to school. Like let my hair grow out, please. Like I can't do this. And she's
okay,
like,
so you knew that it wasn't gonna be a good situation for you throughout the day.
No, I mean like, Okay, like
But
I was
leading up to it, I'm sure like the emotions are.
These things. This was. I cried the whole time. I was just like, this is horrible. I'm gonna make no friends. I'm gonna be that loser in the corner who eats lunch by themselves because I have this weird hair on my head. Damn. And the only thing I had going for me is that my hair grows so fast that it was like. It was literally like I like met all these people, you know, in school, and most of these kids were super nice. And obviously there's a couple like annoying people, but everyone looked past that, and I made some really, really great friends. And it wasn't actually at Woodbridge. It was in Mission Viejo called Trabuco Hills, and I made some really amazing friends there. My hair grew out.
And then when you
like myself again.
when your hair grew out, did your friends like, hey, Naya, you need to cut your hair again back to your
we like the older Naya better.
I told them what happened, and people were like, that sucks. Like, that really sucks for you. And
so your parents didn't make that move and transition to the U.S. easy on you at all.
And luckily, you know, I got blessed with the fact that I had like kids around me that weren't like complete jerks. But it was really funny because my parents, well, my mom, when she was enrolling us for school, she was thinking like American high school is such a scary place because of Hollywood. And in her mind, like, she didn't realize like there's 20-year-olds playing high school kids.
Yeah.
So she was like, all these kids are going to be so big and tall, and like, look at you, my daughter is so small. She was really concerned about me because I was always like on the smaller side. I was skinny and short, and like, I mean, nothing much has changed from that, but she was concerned. So she tried to ask the district to put me in middle school so that I would look like the other kids. And I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to middle school.
Okay, if we're going to base the grade on your look, you'll be like in 5th grade.
Exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm not going to school with my brother. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's humiliating. And then, like, once we got to high school, there was a couple weird things that happened. Like, when we first moved here, they were like, okay, well, we need to see where you're at. And they wouldn't just test us. They were like, you're from Pakistan. What kind of math have you done? And I'm like telling them. And like, I don't know if you guys know, but like the advancement of math and English back where, at least where I was learning, was significantly further along than what was even being taught in high school in America. I'd already finished like algebra. We were getting ready to move on to like trig as a freshman in high school. Like, that's where my starting point was. And like in English, I'd already read like 3 Shakespeare plays, like in Shakespearean, like in middle school. So like when I got here, they were like, they wouldn't believe us. They thought I was lying.
Yeah.
So they put me in all these like regular classes. And because of where my birthday fell, they were like, you can be in 9th grade or you can be in 10th grade.
Oh, that's cool.
But then
when's your birthday exact?
December 28th.
Oh, yeah.
So I was at like, they were like, you could go either way and you're going to be fine. They were like, you can either graduate when you're 17 or 18. But then they were trying to put me in 10th grade in all freshman year classes. And I was like, that makes no sense. I'm never going to get into any college. So I was like, I'll stay a freshman. Can you please put me in like the honors classes or the like classes that are going to be like, they just didn't understand. They thought people were asking me if I came on a boat. Like, at the time, like, nobody knew where I was from. They didn't understand. Yeah. And I ended up finding school so boring and ridiculous. Like, my algebra teacher at the time used to use my homework. It was Algebra 1, like a regular Algebra 1 class. She used my homework as the answer key for all the other kids. Damn. And, like, I would help her teach the class. And, like, in my English class, I was like, why are we reading abbreviated Shakespeare? Like, this is ridiculous for me to be in this class. So a lot of that was, like, really kind of harsh to put up with because I was acing. I had all A's, but I was very, very, like, bored at
not
school.
Challenged.
I was not challenged at all. And then I got, all my teachers were like, next year you're in every honors class. As much as we can bump you up, like, we will recommend that for you. And I was like, thank you. My mom and dad decide that they're bored of the 3 kids they already have. Oh. And they literally planned another baby. Oh. So then my brother is born in America. which we refer to as my parents' flag, because every country my parents live in, they have a child born in that country. So like it's like they have to. Like, oh, we're in a new country.
What different countries are being represented in the elite family household?
My sister's born in Pakistan. I'm born in London. And my brother Imad is born in Luxembourg. And then 15 years later, Musa is born in America.
That's a good description. The flag where
they're like, we have arrived, and here's another person.
Hope they don't retire in Cabo, Mexico.
Right? They're like, oh, by the way, like they're not allowed to move anymore. But he's born, and then we need more space. So then my parents decide to move us to Irvine. So now I'm all settled in finally, and we have to make a new change. And then I start sophomore year
at a new school,
where again, they don't want to put me in honors classes.
You got to go through that whole thing
again. I have
again.
to go through it all over again. And then all of 10th grade, I am super bored again, because I'm again not in any class that is challenging me. And it was really frustrating until like junior year. I actually checked out junior year. Which is not the year to check out in. But I made up for it, because the first half I was doing great, and then I lost a friend in high school, and I just reeled from that. And then nothing mattered anymore to me at that age. It was like a lot of trauma, and it was just really sad. And I think I mentally just checked out. I was like, this place sucks. No one takes me seriously. No one believes that I can do better. And now I've lost a person that I cared about, and is in a very like sad, tragic way, and it shouldn't have happened. So I just checked out junior year for like a few months.
Did you seek any therapy at the time for that, or was that?
Therapy wasn't even really a thing that
that's exactly
that was offered. to
I mean,
us.
because that's mental health, all of that wasn't a big thing back then.
It wasn't a big thing back then.
Not a focus at all.
Then I just had to. Then I woke up at some point, and I was like, college needs to happen, and I need to get there. And right now, it's not looking like I'm going to go where I want to go, and I know I can go to. So then I just switched gears. I said, high school is dumb. I talked to my counselor. He was like, move everything over to community college, and you're enrolled here, but take all of your classes at a community college. I went crazy. I spent all my time at IVC. I would come in for like PE to high school. Stop laughing, Jay. And I made up for it there, because he was like, you'll get all the AP class credits you want, because you're taking an actual college class. And that's how I kind of recovered from my crazy high school journey. And as parents who had just moved and didn't understand, I mean, I was in a prep school in Karachi where like most kids go to Ivy schools from, like, and it's just part of the curriculum, and there's no separation. Everybody just does that. And you just go to a good school, and it's kind of like part of it. But here, American high school, public high school at least, is not set up that way. So I don't think they quite understood how much they needed to like come in and advocate and push them to put me in the right spaces, which they eventually figured it out. But I was kind of winging it until, I had to just kind of be like, I got to do something and figure this out for myself. Go ahead, Jay.
Do you have any funny experiences or any good moments that you can think back in time? You're like, man, I can't believe I did something like this. You have any of those?
I'm pretty sure there's a long list of that.
It's quite interesting that you would bring up that question after I mentioned IBC, because people love to bring up this part, and I specifically told you not to bring this up.
Well, I mean, that's exactly why we have Jay Boogie here as a co-host.
I didn't bring it up. I'm just asking if there was anything fun that happened.
I had some encounters in high school. Okay, some things that I am known for.
Encounters
that
with like aliens.
Love to bring up to me to this day. And
give us one of those, Neha. Come on.
Hey, look, I had this like chip on my shoulder, I guess, okay, where like you couldn't mess with me. I wouldn't mess with you.
That wasn't a chip, it was a bag of chips.
Okay, I wouldn't mess with anybody. I wouldn't talk smack to anybody. But if you were talking smack to me, or if I heard that you were doing something negative towards me, there was no way I wasn't going to clap back at you. Like, there just wasn't. You were not going to take me for a ride or be able to say things about me. And I would use any means necessary to make sure you got that message.
All right.
And that's what it was. That's what it was. And at IVC, someone messed with me. And you know what?
How'd they mess with you?
I was studying in the library at night. And these people approached me. I could see them like talking about, you can
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
someone. They were blatantly talking about me. I didn't know who they were. And it was nighttime and I was a girl alone in a library. And it was 2 guys and a girl. I didn't recognize them. I was like, this is weird. I tried to leave. I got in the elevator. They followed me into the elevator. So I'm in an elevator with these 3 people I don't know who've been making me uncomfortable. They started insulting me and then said that they knew who I was. Long story short, we get outside. They're still in my face. Like, they're still, like, verbally, like, just, like, in my face. Like, if I'm saying I don't remember you, it's genuinely I don't remember you. I'm not trying to be snobby. Like, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of them, like, tapped my shoulder and kind of pushed me back.
One of the guys?
One of the guys.
Yeah, these
Wow.
are
One of the
male
guys.
we're
And now
talking
I'm
about.
outside in
And
the
Neha,
dark.
and just, people who don't know you, Neha is the smallest frame possible that you could possibly imagine.
We had to put an extra zoom on that side.
Exactly.
I had to buy an extra lens
Yeah.
to get this thing. Yeah.
And my reflex was to punch him in the face, out of fear, out of like you're not gonna make me feel threatened anymore. And I punched him in the face, and he told the whole world about it because he was a JC guy.
Oh,
and
wait, these were 3 Daisies?
yeah,
Over here at
Yeah.
Jive Podcast, we don't condone a bullying.
we do not.
We clap
no,
back
but
over here.
I really felt very threatened, and they were mentioning my sister, and I was like, don't talk about my sister.
Did they know you or did you know them?
I didn't know
After the
them.
fact,
I
like-
finally figured out who they were, but
Uh-huh.
it wasn't anybody that I knew. They were people who went to my old high school in Tribuco Hills, and they knew my sister.
So did they think you were your sister?
They kept saying, "We know your sister. We know who you are." And I'm like, I don't know who you are.
what was their beef?
That was their beef, that I wouldn't say I knew who they were. And I'm like, but I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And then they started like insulting me.
Let's put them on blast right now. What are their names?
I'm
Come on.
not- they know who they are. They know who they are.
No, I mean, I
But
think
it was
we know who
absurd.
you
Hey,
are.
this is the season of canceling people, right? Come
It was
on. Okay,
absurd.
first of all, the Fresh Jive podcast reaches in that crazy where they're going to be canceled from their jobs here.
No, I just felt very threatened. It was like 9:00 at night.
I mean,
and it was dark.
Do I come across this person ever?
Probably not.
Okay, then.
No,
all
but
right.
I mean, they knew some of my friends, and this story came back to me like decades later, where they were like, "Hey, we know this happened," and they had given this concoction of the story that didn't happen, and I'm like, that's not what happened. I didn't just like attack someone.
I mean, if they're putting out rumors, I think we need to get the names out there, right? Let's clear things up.
By
guys.
the way,
just
like me
wild.
and Neha weren't really cool like that back in like high school, beginning of college days. I actually went to the same community college as well too, and I had just heard throughout the Vine, like, hey, there was this girl that came over here. She's being harassed, yada yada yada. And then I heard she's the one who actually went ahead and handled her business, and came to find out it was Neha. I was like, wow, to somebody like this, I
wasn't gonna let them make me feel.
gotta
They
be
were
in
like,
my
they weren't
circle.
leaving me alone. It was more. It had become to the point where it was feeling like harassment. And then you touched my person.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's crazy.
I just was like, nope, like no, thank you. And I just punched him in the face. Like his glasses broke, and he was like, "You broke my glasses. We're gonna call security now." I was like, "Please do, because I need the security from you."
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, sometimes you gotta pop out and show.
Well, I'm glad nothing else happened from that
No,
event.
then I just left, and I was like, I don't want. I thought I'd never hear or see from them again, but the DC world is pretty small.
Oh yeah, it
and-
100% is.
And then there were
Okay, so then
people,
that was IVC. What happened after IVC?
So I graduated high school, and I didn't feel ready to go to a 4-year college. So I started hiding my acceptance letters from my parents.
No, auntie and uncle, if you're watching.
And my dad one day was like, I go, "Oh, you got accepted to Cal State Northridge," and I accepted it for you. It was like, great, more lack of decision making on my part. Thanks, Dad. And then I was like, how do I get out of this? And I tried to make up every excuse to not go. And senior year was
Northridge
weird.
from Irvine?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'd never been to Northridge.
Yeah.
I don't even like. It was ridiculous. So I go there. I go there for a year.
Wait,
and
you actually went to...
I went. My dad made me go.
And did you commute?
No, I lived in
Oh,
Northridge.
okay, yeah, because I was going to
I
say...
lived in Northridge for a year, and after the year went by, I was like, I'm coming home. I like was like, I did what you asked me to do. I'm coming home. This is not where I want to finish school from. And my dad was really not happy about this because he was like, community college is not for you. Like, that's not where my child is going to go. He just had like a thing about community college, and he didn't want me to go there. And I was like, trust me, like, it's going to get me where I need to go. It's so much harder for me to transfer from university to university. So I talked him into it finally. I went to OCC for a year, and I took everything I needed to take in a year to transfer. And I got into University of San Diego finally. So like nothing I've done to get to college or high school is normal. I was always like
it was always a different route.
Jumping, just trying to get to where I needed to be, no matter how. But I was gonna get there. And so I went to University of San Diego, and I graduated, and I made sure I graduated in the 2 years that I was supposed to be there. It was like an unnecessary goal. I went hard. I would take like 21 units a semester, have no life. I had a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I had a ton of fun, but it was really hard. Like I had a full load all the time. And then I just had to finish the summer after graduation to finish the units I needed, but I was like, I'm gonna still stick to my timeline. I wanted to go to school. It was gonna be 4 years. I'm not gonna be the 5 year. Not that in retrospect it doesn't matter at all, but at the time, like I was just like, it's been such a weird road that I need to just normalize it here so that I graduate when I wanted to.
Like you said, I mean, in retrospect, when you think back on so many things that we think matter, it really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
And like you talked about, the community college aspect. I think looking back at it, community college is such a great option.
It was great.
2 years, you save money. I mean, and it's not like you're graduating there. You're going to go 2 years and transfer, and wherever you transfer, you're going to get your degree from there.
Exactly.
Community college is a great option.
I thought that's what I had wanted to do. That's why I was hiding all my acceptance letters from my parents, because I wasn't feeling comfortable to move out. I had been going through so much. I was kind of shaky, and I didn't know how to communicate that properly, and they didn't understand.
You wanted to be home.
I felt like I needed to be home for a little bit.
So, and this is good advice that can be applied on a lot of different things too. Kind of what Neha is saying, looking back at it, it wasn't that big of a deal type of thing. I always tell people this too, like whenever people are like making, like, stressed out about problems or whatever, are you going to remember this problem in 5 years or in 10 years? Then it's not that big of a deal. It'll be okay, So, I thinking back, like I'm stressed out about like whatever, I got a bad grade in like a final or whatever.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember any of that stuff anymore, right? Like, what does it matter, It
really doesn't.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have taken the time and like figured out something, or taken the time to actually enjoy what I was learning. Like I was just trying to get the grades I needed and like hustle my way to make sure I walked when I had
you just wanted to get done.
A goal for, and it was a lot, but I did it.
So what major did you have in college? What did you graduate with?
I graduated with international relations.
Okay.
As I really just, that was kind of what I like enjoyed. I wanted to study in college what I enjoyed, not necessarily what was gonna make money.
So then what'd you do after college?
After college, well, this is really funny. Okay, so I was really blessed to have parents that gave me an allowance in college. And my dad was very, very big on like, I don't want you to have a job. I want you to focus on school. That's your only job. Like, don't worry about money. So I used to get a monthly allowance. I graduated, and I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated. I hadn't like fully figured it out. I had wanted to do everything when I was in college. Like at some point I was a doctor, I was a lawyer, I was I was going to save Africa. Like there was everything you can imagine I wanted to do it. But I was very like, I hadn't decided what it was going to be yet. So I go home, and the first month of summer after college, like after I've come home, I got an allowance. And the second month, I didn't. And I was like,
What just happened?
What's up, guys? Like, where's the bank transfer?
You can't just cut me off like
I'm
that.
like, excuse me, it wasn't like a conversation. I just got cut off, and then my dad was like, "Go get a job." Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not gonna keep funding you. And I was like, this is not the part that I knew I had to do. Like, I knew I had to go to college, but like, I didn't know I had to get a job.
Yeah, that's the part they don't tell us
They
about.
don't tell you. They deceived me. I was like, that's why you sent me to school. Like, what?
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up working at Wells Fargo right after college.
The infamous Wells Fargo.
And I was there for a bit, and
How long were you at Wells Fargo for?
for 2 years.
I know you mentioned earlier your dad was a banker. Did that have any influence?
No, it really did. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't really know what to do. Dad was a banker. He talks about it so fondly. He has like great memories of being a banker. Clearly, he was not like the kind of banker that I became. Is what I very quickly found out at Wells Fargo is that I was a salesperson, not a banker. There was no financial advice I was giving, and I was making people open accounts they didn't need because we had sales quotas to hit.
Oh, really?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. I think I recall a text message I get from Neha.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everyone on the
Dude,
planet.
I
my-
saw this text message.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Everybody, because
So
they
wait.
were so intense about our sales goals that if I didn't hit, I would go try to do sales, like regular sales. And then if I didn't hit my goals, they would give us like cold calling duty after work.
That's
Damn.
crazy.
So it was like detention.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I have to hit, we had a goal of 8. And if you didn't hit the goal of 8
A day?
Daily?
a day,
Okay.
and it wasn't just like checking accounts, but it was
Yeah.
like you had to sell 8 products every day, and it was so much pressure to find that much to do. So I would just be like, "Hey,
That's a
friend,
great employee.
Yeah.
Hey, family, like
Yeah.
someone needs to help me get in here." And the one thing about me is, if I'm gonna work anywhere, I'm gonna kill that job. Like, I'm gonna be the best of the best of the best in the way that I can be. Like, I don't have to be number one, but I'm gonna give it my all.
100%. Yeah.
So I would go hard. I had like all my entire family is on Wells Fargo. I think some of them still use those accounts.
I still get billed monthly for my account that I don't ever use.
There's a credit card out there.
Feel free to close it, but
somewhere.
I mean, I felt like I had no choice. I remember I was having a sleepover with one of my friends. Like, we'd gone out and we all like crashed. And she was like, woke up the next day. She's like, do you know you were talking about checking accounts in your sleep? And I was like,
Oh, no.
oh my god. I was like, what is my life?
So what happened with Wells Fargo? I don't know if you guys remember. I'm sure you remember. There was a big
remember.
lawsuit about opening up fake accounts, right? Was that the details, right?
There was a lot of unfunded accounts.
Okay,
And
yeah.
like they would like, sorry Wells Fargo, but like they would like be like, just open a new savings account. Say it's a savings account for travel.
That's
it wasn't
crazy.
like illegal, but it was just overcomplicating people's lives, and they wouldn't use them, and then they would get shut down. But it was, I got
Did they have to pay for
I was
the
part of the
monthly to have the
settlement.
savings account?
Yeah, or
they-
you'd have to transfer. So we would
Oh.
make all these. We'd be like, well, if you open a checking and a
Oh,
savings, so you need a
damn.
savings.
And you maintain a certain
And then we'll
amount.
just
Money
keep
heist.
transferring money here. It'll
Yeah,
waive
they-
your
they
fee.
waive your fee, yeah.
And then that's how we would convince them. And like, it was ridiculous. Like, honestly, like
Damn, Wells Fargo.
thinking.
Yeah, I know.
It
No,
was-
no,
it
this
was a
this
lot.
no, it was a big deal.
It was
Yeah, I
a really
remember.
big deal,
It was a
and
big
it was
thing.
being pushed really hard. And
Yeah.
like, I was like, I'm gonna go as hard as I can. I was like top 25 banker in Orange County. Like, my sales numbers were killing it, and I wasn't gonna let them fall. So I was like, Jay, May,
No, really?
anybody,
Yeah.
and anyone on the street. The first thing I would ask somebody is like, hey, do you want a checking account? Like, it had taken over my entire personality.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
I was a
crazy.
walk.
No,
It really did.
It
You
really
were
did.
there.
No, I was one of the recipients.
Yeah.
That's why,
It was
that's
a
why
lot.
right when I saw that lawsuit happen, and first thing I was like, Neha,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, no, but it was
So
insane.
Jay's responsible for Radio Shack
Hey.
going down. Neha's responsible for Wells Fargo.
It was a lot. It was a lot of pressure. Allegedly. No, but I did get paid as an employee of Wells Fargo. There was a class action lawsuit, and I got like a little bit. of
Oh, that's
money.
good.
I was like, thank you.
Okay, so then that was Wells Fargo. What
Yes.
happened after that?
After Wells Fargo, I was told I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I hated what I was doing. I felt like a salesperson, and that wasn't that wasn't something I was passionate about. And I wasn't selling anything that was like giving me any joy, right? It's like I'm forcing my great aunt to open up 4 checking accounts. This is not it. This is not what I signed up
She doesn't
for.
even live in Baka. She doesn't even live in America.
Like, so it was not it for me. And this is the weirdest part of my life, and it makes me laugh all the time that this is where I ended up. My friend goes, you should try accounting. And I'm like, accounting? I was like, I didn't even want to take that as one of my like general ed classes. That sounds like boring Nerdville. Like, no, thank you. And he was like, seriously, go take an accounting class. I really think that you're going to like it. And I was like, okay. So I hit up UCLA's extension program. I took like the, first level accounting 101 class. And my mind was just like, what is this?
Damn.
Oh my God. And my brain just connected with it. And I did so, like, it wasn't just that I did well in it. I've done well in other courses. I just loved it because
It just clicked.
It just clicked. I don't know what about it just clicked. I ended up talking to my parents and being like, look, I know you already paid for a really expensive school, but can you let me take the certification course at UCLA? And my dad was just like, probably like rolled his eyes so hard back into his head, but he said yes.
You know Neha's dad.
Thank you, Dad.
He is hilarious.
Oh yeah, Dad. Shout out to my dad. He's like the best person in the world. But so he let me do this, and in the meantime, because he was like, okay, like I was like, I'm gonna be in school. I can't have like a full time job because now I took on like a whole like situation again. I was back in school.
Is that monthly allowance coming back now?
No, so in a way, so my dad, I started working for my dad. So I was going to school, and then it was really nice because he let me do his accounting, like with his support.
Yeah.
So like anything I didn't know, like he would help. And sometimes, he would like be like, okay, you did this completely wrong. And my dad is, like, you freaking idiot. Like, I'm like, I'm learning it. I don't know, you know, like I'm still, but I got through 2 years of it. By the end of it, I was actually really good at it. And I was then like, okay, like now I can take this somewhere. And I was trying to find what I wanted to do. I knew from taking the classes I hated taxes. So I was like, I don't want to get my CPA because I feel like I could do private accounting without getting my CPA. And I didn't want to, honestly, didn't want to deal with the exam. So at this time I had met Adnan, my now husband.
Oh, okay.
And
shout out Adnan.
Shout out to Adnan.
What year is this?
2012.
Okay.
So then I started looking for jobs in LA because he lived in LA, and I was like, I wanted to hang out with him easier. So I started just looking for jobs in LA. I came across this company, a web agency in Hollywood, and I applied for this job. And I interviewed, and I was like so honest with them. I'm so surprised that they hired me off of this interview.
When you say you're so honest with them, what aspect?
I was like, look, this is a lateral move for me. I'm doing the exact same role currently at a company. I'm really just trying to move here to be close to my boyfriend. And the person I was hiring was the founder and owner of the company. And he's a brilliant man. Like he's like a serial entrepreneur. He's epic. He was like, okay. And he hired me, and he was just like, all right, like come to LA. And then I remember one time, like a month into my job, he's like, how's your man friend? And I was like, my boyfriend? Like, what's a man friend? He's like, I don't know what to call him. I was like, that's so funny. But I started working at this web agency, and then eventually moved out to LA with my best friend, Samia, who's working at Cedars, doing amazing things in public health. And we lived together, and I just started like getting involved in this. It was a tech company, it was a web agency, and then it evolved into becoming like a startup studio, which was so exciting and so much more fun. And I got to grow with them, and I stayed with them for, I'm still doing their books now.
Yeah, you're killing it for them, right?
We've been there for like 12, how many years? 11 years?
amazing.
I've been at this company.
That sounds about right.
But like
Right?
I don't know.
yeah, 11, I think it'll be 11 years this year.
Okay.
And it's kind of wound down now. but it was the most fun experience. I learned so much, and then I like became an HR expert, which I didn't ask for, but it was like the startup life.
Exactly. I mean, you have to wear so many different hats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were like, "Do you know how to do this?" I'm like, "No," and then I was like, "But I'll figure it out."
Yeah.
And that kind of became my like fun time, actually, because that's kind of one of the things that I liked about accounting was like putting pieces together. And I think that it like I love a puzzle, and then like finishing it and completing it, and like that's kind of why like all of this, like it was like learning on the job and like fixing books that weren't correct or anything like that. So I just did that, and I thrived, and I loved it. And eventually I got really, really good at it, where I was like creating systems. So I eventually like helped with the help of like obviously more experienced people that would come in and mentor and stuff, help build like the systems that we use for like our entire accounting department. I learned how to do all the stuff I would have never, thought I'd be able to do. I was like forecasting and doing budgets and like helping run a department in this company that had like 30 people. And I was like, how did we get here? And I had mad imposter syndrome, and I think I still do.
I think everybody does in a little regard. Everybody does. Yeah.
I was like, why do these people trust me to do this? Like, do they know I don't feel qualified? Like, but I would figure it out, and I think that's why my bosses trusted me. And I still work for the person that took over the company, who is also like a really brilliant person. And I help him with like financial consulting now and HR consulting, and like we'll go in with clients and kind of like see what they need. And there's a lot of companies who like have really crazy books, and then we like go in and get them, properly accounted for and all that stuff. But I love that.
So is that what you're doing now?
That's what I'm doing now.
With your own company or a different company?
With the founder of the company who I work with. His name is Zach, and we love him.
Okay, awesome.
I told him he'd have to fire me to have me leave us alone.
May, Neha briefly touched upon her life getting into marriage and everything. She actually has a really cool story about her first date.
Oh my God,
I think you should definitely bring it up.
Yeah. No.
Oh my God.
I mean, you touched on, around 2012 is when you first met Adnan, right? So yeah, let's hear about that.
Okay, so Adnan and I meet, we go on our first date, which I messaged Jay the night before, and I was like, Jay, I need you to help me with my outfit.
On
this is
On
how close we are now. And I'm like, this is what I'm thinking of wearing. Like, do you think it's too much? Should I go more this way? Like, so he's coaching me on my outfit, and I'm like, amazing. I wanted a guy's perspective, not a girl's perspective.
Absolutely.
So I go to Hollywood. It's Saddle Ranch in West Hollywood to meet Adnan. Adnan used to live like right up the street from there. And we're just sitting there, and we notice someone playing pool, and it happens to be DMX.
Oh, the Rough Rider, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
So, like, I didn't want to be... I've loved DMX since I was little.
I mean, did you guys recognize him right away?
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
he was there, and, like, our table happened to be, like, facing him.
Okay.
So I, like, see him, and I'm like, that's DMX. Oh, my God. Like, and I'm fangirling like crazy. Like, I have been a huge DMX fan since my Pakistan days.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So
between Mariah Carey and DMX.
Yes.
It's a wide range.
It's a wide range. So I'm like super excited. But then I don't know Adnan yet, so I don't want to be a groupie in front of him. Yeah. So he goes to the bathroom, and I'm like, this is my chance.
Oh my God.
And I go over to him, and I'm like, excuse me, I really don't want to bother you. I know you're out. Whatever. I don't like to bother celebrities, but I was like, this one I have to.
Yeah.
I was like, I've been a huge fan my whole life. Like, can I please just get a picture with you if you don't mind? And he's like, of course. And I was like, great. So we take a picture, and then he's still playing pool. And
did Adnan see you take a picture?
No.
Wait, how long?
How long were we in the bathroom?
I didn't know this.
But no, this is all within a minute or so.
You know the thing is, we're gonna have Adnan on this podcast. Yeah. He's gonna give his perspective. You know what? He came out of the bathroom a long time ago. He was watching her take the picture. He called up his friend. He was like, "She's not the one."
Groupie girl. Yeah. No, so this is so cute because first of all, he goes, is that your boyfriend? And I was like, wow, he noticed us. Like
Wait, he said that's when Adnan came back,
no,
or just
before. So he had already
that's dope.
seen
Yeah.
us. So he's like, "Is that your boyfriend?" And I was like, "I don't know yet." And he was like, "Seems like a good dude." Like literally,
Hey, old dog.
exactly. Like, and I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "I think you should date him." And I'm like, "Okay, like if you say so, definitely, like for sure." So DMX is the reason why I dated Adnan.
DMX approved.
Mad.
And then the best, I'll never forget this. He shoots the ball and it like bounces off the pool table and falls onto the floor. And he goes, "X gonna give it to you." And I was
He
like,
didn't say that, did he?
I swear to God, I'm not making this
Hey,
up.
hold on.
It made my whole life. I was
my-
like, this is the best
Wait,
night
can you
ever.
impersonate a DMX saying that, like in his?
He
I
said it in his
can't
in
right
his
now
tone?
because I've lost my voice.
No, I mean, I think that'll help your
No,
impersonation.
but it's not. It's not.
The fact that you've lost
Yeah.
your voice and it's
I'll
raspy.
send
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
I'll send
there
you
you
a
go.
snippet of me doing it. Like
Chad, I think we
when
should
I
give
have
it a
my
shot.
voice.
Hey, no, I'm gonna put it at the end of this episode. All its credits is gonna be there going, "Let's go give it to you."
No, but it was really fun. And then I really was like, you know what? That's DMX co-signed you. So I don't know if that's great or not, but I'm going to go with this.
Okay, is that why Adnan tries to maintain the DMX look now?
Yes, actually.
I don't think he has a choice.
He's paying homage to, no, that's definitely involuntary.
So then, when DMX passed away, R.I.P. That must have impacted you guys a lot.
I was really sad.
Yeah.
Like it was, because it was like a special thing that we just remembered. And like,
and especially that was your first date.
it was our
Yeah.
first date, and it
Yeah.
was so impactful. And I even have a post up still on my IG feed that like I gave him a shout out before we got married, like before our wedding. And I was like, "Thank you, for like
Give y'all
saying
the
what
blessing.
you did." Now we're getting married like 2 years later.
Did he ever respond or anything like
No,
that?
I wish he did.
Oh,
but
that would have been awesome.
It would have been really cool if he had responded, but it was fun.
You guys, man, I mean, of course, it's, he's passed away now, but it would have been awesome if you got him a video of him, like, giving you guys a shout out for your wedding.
Oh
That
my
would've
god,
been
right?
dope.
Like from Cameo
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually
Yeah.
did that for Adnan's birthday, correct?
I did. I got him one from Bun B because he's a huge fan of him.
Okay.
But
From
yeah,
Texas.
All right.
Yeah,
No,
that
I'm not hip to the game.
I did. Yeah, no, that would have been so cool, and then have it played.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Okay, so now you guys what year did you guys get married?
2014.
2014.
Mm-hmm.
So it's coming on 11 years for you guys.
Yeah, we just had our 10-year anniversary in August of last year.
Man, and 3 kids.
3 kids.
So now I guess this is the part that we wanted to kind of like, explore a little bit. How's it been
Yeah.
with, with your family, 3 kids, managing that and balancing your career and everything like that?
It's been a journey, but like I said earlier, the reason why I said like my boss would have to fire me for me to leave is because he's been so generous and amazing with the fact that I'm a mom, and like really, really was so nice about that transition in my life. I mean, when I had Liana, first of all, when I was pregnant, I mean, this is a startup company. There was no maternity
Yeah.
leave set up.
Yeah.
We like talked about it. He like helped set up, maternity leave and paid leave and all that
That's so
stuff so
dope.
that I wouldn't be like on my own.
Yeah.
And it was very generous. So like that was the first thing. And it was great because it helped all the other women who then later on eventually had babies. And then when I had Liana, a lot of our company had already gone remote. Like I used to go in every day just because I was needed in the office for operational stuff. But most of the company was working remotely and sometimes would come into the office. And I asked him if I could work predominantly from home as well, even though like it would have been more efficient for me to be in the office. And he agreed. So he let me stay home and be with my baby.
Yeah.
And work hours that worked for us. So I was like, can I like kind of shuffle my schedule around a little bit and not be like set in stone on stuff? And I'll go in and like check in at the office as I need. And he let me do all of that.
Yeah.
So I was actually really, really blessed in that sense that I had such a great support system that was allowing me to do
so
what
important.
I needed to do, and it was incredible. And I've never ever will forget that, because it was so special that I used to be able to be at home with, first of all, be at home with Liana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like way prior to COVID, so like
Absolutely. Oh, before remote work was
exactly
a thing.
remote
Yeah.
work wasn't really
It
like
wasn't,
a big
yeah.
thing then. So this was like a really big deal that I could be at home with her, actually enjoy her, not miss out on any of her big milestones.
What year was that?
This is in 2017. She was born in January, so it's 2017 that year.
And so, I mean, these are some of the things that guys don't ever have to really worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, you know, a lot of big companies do have, you know, parental leave for guys as well too. But I mean, for the most part, you know, we don't have that recovery period. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have to go through all of that, you know. So these are things that women especially have to, you know, balance and juggle.
Because I didn't want to stop working just because I
Yeah.
became a mom. Like after maternity leave was over, I was like craving work. I needed like some stimulation. Like
Yeah.
I needed to do something.
Yeah.
And being a mother is so special, but like you still need to like have yourself. So I didn't want to stop working. So this was like the best situation I could have possibly asked for.
Yeah.
And I was allowed to do it for the longest time. And then I would fly into like Phoenix once a month back in the day. And Liana would go to my grandparents, and I would go in and do what I needed to do because our headquarters were over there.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like I had like the means to work. Sometimes they would get emails from me at like 2 and 3 in the morning, because that was the time that I was able to do what I needed to do.
Yep.
And it just worked, and I got everything done. I always got everything done.
That's a blessing
You
that you
know?
had a boss that was understanding of that situation.
Exactly.
Because I know
Yeah.
a lot of women tend to have
Yeah.
an issue
I have
with
a lot
that.
of
You
friends
know?
that have a lot of trouble with that. So I actually was very blessed to be in a space that was like a safe space for me to be a mom in.
Yeah, oh,
Cheers to her boss.
Yeah, shout out if you, we'll send, you know, when we have him on the podcast, we'll make sure to tell him things about that. No, but the thing is, I always think about it too, like people who don't have that type of support. I mean, and I'll give you an example too. For, you know, my kids, they get out of school at like 2:00 certain days. I'm like, how can any parent who's working be able to manage that schedule?
Yeah.
You know?
There's so some of the things that were really hard, even with that, is I still had a 40-hour job, right? And I had a baby. So like I was tired. Like it was the best situation that I could have had as a mom, but I was exhausted and I was stretched very thin, because I was like, I'm with the baby, she naps, I work.
Yep.
I'm with the baby, she's doing something else, I'm working. There's a time when I would be sitting inside of her playpen on the floor, and that was my office, because she'd be playing and I would be working inside of her playpen.
Yeah.
Like or like being up all night and not sleeping enough and burning the candle on both ends, and then like,
Man, shout out to the mom. Man, I don't know how you guys do it.
No, 100%. I mean, and on top of that, like, I mean, I always just think about like single parents on top of that have
Oh
to
my God,
work.
you're not
Like
meant
that's taking
to.
it another level. You
Yeah.
know,
You're
like
not
there's-
meant to do that. Like,
It's-
there's no way. You can't even do it like well with
With-
just
with-
two.
yeah, 100%.
With both
With
parents.
both
because
parents,
you
yeah.
Need, I for sure need extra hands. Like I
Oh,
need my
yeah.
mom, I need my nanny, I need my dad. Like J Mamu needs to come over. Like it needs to happen.
No, really, no, because I think I mean, you know, sometimes you know, Rimsha will have to travel, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not. We have a nanny, we get help too, but there's sometimes where like she's traveling, and maybe it's for like 2 or 3 days, it's just me by myself. And I'm just thinking, man, it's hard. But I know she's coming back and then I'll have help again.
Yeah.
There's people who don't get that. You know? It's literally single parent. I mean, that's it forever, you know? And I just sit there and think about it. I was like, my God, whoever, like people, I mean, they make it work. They have to, right?
You have to.
You have to.
And it's hard, and like childcare is so expensive.
Yeah.
Like if you aren't blessed with like a certain level of salary, I'm like, how do you send your child
It's
and
crazy.
still have money left over for like life? Like, and
Yeah.
I'm not talking about luxury. I'm talking about just like
Just
rent,
living and
food,
surviving.
Food, yeah.
like diapers, like none
Yeah.
of that. It's so crazy expensive, and we don't have the systems that like help in this country. Like, you don't have any. You're kind of on your own. You just got to figure it out. And then it's like,
pretty much,
who's raising your kid while you're just surviving? You know, it's like it's rough.
Yeah, so, we get thrown into this rat race. You know, you just.
So now, 3 kids later, right? How's it been managing with 3 kids?
Oh my God.
I mean, do you have it down now?
No, because like, you know, we were blessed with that first angel baby. I don't know if you've heard about this, but like it's like Mother Nature's deception. Where like your first baby is an angel. Me and Nat thought we were like the best parents on the planet. Man. We were like, we are killing this. She was asleep for like hours at night at like 4 months. We were like, this is amazing. She was
let's shoot out 2 more.
Yeah, we're like, let's go. And then like the other 2 came out. They were not angel babies. They were so sweet, and I loved them to that. But they didn't sleep through the night, and it wasn't anything that we did because we were doing the same things, and it wasn't working. So thank you, Liana, for being such a sweet child, but it didn't work for 2 and 3, and it's been a lot.
I'm sure you love all your kids the same. You love them all the most. Yeah. But is there going to be one that's going to get you, like, that's going to be your proud moment? No. Which one is honestly, that going to be?
Like I was not sure how I was going to love anyone more than Liana when Liana was born. Like, because when she was born, she was my whole world.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
no one could ever compare to her. But when I had Natalia, I just grew another heart. They have separate heart. Every one of my children has me 100% fully. There's nothing.
Yeah,
there's no difference. There's no way that I could ever, like, if one of them, if they do anything to even disappoint me, I don't even know if they could disappoint me. That's just life. I have no, I don't know. I don't know how to express what those 3 people in this world mean to me. Like, they are everything I do is for them, which is what becomes so hard when you're working.
100%.
Because you want them to have all of you and then work, and now I have to divide my time into so many different ways, and that's the part now I think it's hardest, is because I want to give them all the attention that they need, but then I still have to work. And then I still have a marriage, and I still have friends and family, and my parents, and then there's me.
Yeah, you need your life too.
I need time as well for myself, and it's that balance of finding it has been so incredibly difficult.
You have 30-hour days, right, to do all of this, you know?
Basically, right? And like, it drives me nuts when someone is like, we have the same amount of hours in a day, and I'm like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
We do not. Like, don't say that to me, because you don't understand how I have to divide my time. Like, you can step out of the house and just go. I have like 2 people holding my legs while I'm trying to make chai. Like, it's not the same. We're not the same.
Yeah,
like,
this is crazy.
it's a lot. Like, it's the emotional and mental toll that it's not the physical part. It's normal. There's nothing that crazy.
Yeah.
You're not like lifting your children in the sky, but
and I've seen you as a mother, you know, it's not like you're one of those moms that just kind of like, okay, kids, go do your own thing. You know, like whenever there's an issue that I see them come across, you know, you have a full on sit down conversation with them. You try to break everything down to them to how to think properly as well, too. So it's not like you're just like, oh, okay, there's your iPad, go do your thing. You know, I've seen you like constantly just moving around, handling 3 kids, handling your 4th kid as well, too.
No, it's a lot, but I mean, I'm like, you know, when people used to ask me what I wanted to be when I was a kid, I used to say I want to be a mom. Like, that's what I really wanted to do. So like, that's my passion, and I spend a lot of time researching shit, because, excuse me, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Whatever, bleep me out.
Well, there goes the rating for our podcast.
Kid-friendly.
I do
kid-friendly.
No longer. I just didn't want my kids to see this.
It wasn't about the criminal activities, but...
No, it wasn't about the assault or anything. But
we went through a few different crimes in this episode.
But shit is where we draw the line.
Oh my God. No, but... Like, I like to spend a lot of time, because I find it very fascinating, like childhood development and like brain development. So I want to make sure my kids have the best that I can possibly give to them. So I spend a lot of time just with them and like observing what they do and what they need, and like finding ways to make their lives easier for them, because it's hard being a kid. Like, it's really hard.
It is, man.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And like, kids have big feelings, and I feel like, at least in the Desi world, people don't our parents and uncles and aunts
It's
and understand
different
it.
generation.
You know, so
Yeah.
like I'm like, no, like they have opinions and their opinions matter and
know.
their thoughts and feelings matter. So I'd like to spend time with them, but then it takes away from other things I want to do as well. But that's the priority.
Of course, of course. Let me ask you this now, Neha. What advice would you give your younger self?
Stay with a decision. I don't know. I think actually I've said this before. Like, I think I was so lacking in confidence. So I would
In what regard? In like,
in
your
like believing that I could do things. Like I think I've just had imposter syndrome for such a long time, and I think it was like being told, like not being believed for a little bit of what I was capable of. I think I started questioning my own capacity that I knew was bigger than where I was at. I would probably tell myself to like fight harder for yourself and like stick to your beliefs and go for that thing that you think you're gonna fail in, and fail if you need to. Because I think I held myself back from a lot of things because I didn't want to fail, so I would just not do it.
yeah, makes
So-
sense.
Since we're talking about going back in time and giving a message to yourself, I just want to know where your mind's at. Would you like to travel 50 years or 100 years back in time, or like 100 years into the future?
I don't know. I don't think I would want to go either place. I like where I am at right now.
Well, that was fun.
No, I don't.
well, Jay,
Because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Life to me is meaningful because of the people that are in my life. And I wouldn't, no, I mean, in the past, I would probably find people I have heard of.
Let's say this hypothetical. Let me kind of adding on to
Okay.
Jay's. You can go 100 years in the past, 100 years in the future, experience it, and then you'll come back right back to this
Oh,
moment.
okay.
Yeah. So you won't have to like give up your kids. Or
Okay,
anything.
because I'm like, I don't really want to go
No,
and be
so
alone.
I get what you're saying. Like, oh, I don't want to leave my kids out. You know,
Yeah.
no. But
You know?
you'll get to come back to this exact
Okay,
moment.
fine. Thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that.
Yeah.
In that case, I would probably want to go back in time,
100 years in the
100 years back.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. Just because I would want
To go through the depression.
Yeah.
For how long? For how long?
go through World War II. No,
For how long?
She goes back 100 years. She's in the
I
depression
actually-
mind, like getting
Yeah.
rich.
I just want to go
Like
back 10
somebody
years and buy
else-
She
Bitcoin.
thought it was gonna be. She thought it was gonna be
Okay, and you guys
glamorous.
wanna
The
go-
Roaring 20s.
Who
No,
knows what's
we're going
gonna
to
be
World
here?
War I.
the world's not even going to be here in 100 years with the way we're treating it.
Jay, let's pose you that same question. 100 years back, 100 years forward.
For sure, the future.
Absolutely.
For
Who's
sure
going
the
back to
future.
depression with
You
me?
guys,
wanna
you
go
guys
back.
just want to come back with
I
all
want
the
to have a
knowledge and
cell
then do
phone.
it.
You know, I want internet.
No, exactly. Technology. I mean,
Yeah,
I love
tech.
technology, you know?
No.
But it would be cool going back 10 years and buying Bitcoin.
I mean, that.
But I would own all of it.
No, that's a different situation here. Come on.
No, I would go back because I'm a nostalgic person.
I do love history, though.
I would
History
go
is
back
cool.
and I would just I would want to go back to like the 60s and go to like a Doors concert.
Well, there you go.
Like that's what I would do. I would
Chill.
I,
You
yeah.
can go watch Charlie Chaplin back in the day,
Exactly.
you know? There you
I
go.
would do that. I would go back and do the things that I find
So-
fascinating from
Okay,
history.
so man, no, Neha, this has honestly been such a great conversation, and just like I've known you for so long,
Yeah.
and I've learned so much about you in this conversation,
I
like
love
things
it.
I didn't know, you
That's
know.
awesome. I'm
And-
glad.
And so, and honestly, you're exactly what I thought you would be on this podcast.
Yeah.
Articulate, well-spoken, fun, and I'm so happy to have you on here.
Thank you.
Jay, thank you so much for being a co-host.
Hold
here.
on, thank you. Before we get into all that, I just want to know how come I got a Kirkland water bottle and Neha's over there drinking Fiji? That's all I want to know.
No, Jay, I'm glad you brought that. Neha as a talent comes with a lot of demands. I've been sitting here picking red Skittles for her all week long. Had a Fiji bottle ready for her. Neha apparently only drinks Fiji water.
Why?
You know?
Okay, let me tell you guys.
Even though Kirkland tastes 1,000 times
Okay,
better.
I'll
Let me
tell
say
you
that.
guys something. Okay, I hate water. I hate water. I hate everything about it. I don't like the way it tastes. I know people are like, it doesn't have a taste. It has a taste. I don't like the taste of water. I think it's gross.
Could you describe this taste?
I don't know what it is.
I
It's
think
just, it's
Fiji water
weird.
tastes terrible.
I love Fiji water.
Fiji water, in my
Fiji
opinion,
water
tastes like tap water.
is good to me. Like
Oh,
this is
Can
the
we
water
agree
I can
that
drink.
we all don't like Dasani?
Dasani is whatever.
No, Dasani is the worst.
No, I don't hate Dasani.
What?
I don't hate it, right?
What?
No, but for me, the ranking is Fiji's dead last.
What?
Absolutely last. I'm take that back. Arrowhead is dead last.
I hope
Fiji.
Fiji's not
You
listening
know
to
what's
this.
dead last? It's not even a West Coast brand. It's like green something. It's like really big on the East Coast.
I don't
You know
think
what
that was
I'm
water.
talking about?
Okay, wait, hang on.
It's the taste of
Jay,
that.
let me ask you this. Do you want Fiji water next time you come on?
I would prefer to have green Skittles with Fiji water, please.
Oh.
Okay, but I will say that. Okay, I told your wife, who's one of the best humans on this planet, about my Fiji needs, and I have yet to come to your house and not had a Fiji water waiting for me. And it's
and by
not
the way,
because you guys drink it, so it's
the-
really here for me.
Okay, so I got she literally, before you come, we're busy getting things ready at the house. She literally will go take a trip to like Ralph's to go pick it up. And I'm like, hey, Rimsha, the first time was a good joke, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got it, right? It was a good joke.
Don't feed into it.
Yeah, we can't keep this going forever.
I mean,
here.
I
Please.
can bring the Fiji water myself.
Shout out to Rimsha.
No, and on top of that, we don't drink Fiji at all.
I know,
right?
so I
And
know it's for me.
So now what I do is whenever she brings like the whole pack of it, I literally will hide the rest of those packs, right? And I only put one out there because she'll put them all out there and everyone's just grabbing
know,
it,
everyone's grabbing it.
And then nobody else cares for it, right? So now what I do, and this is from the stash of that I've
Yes,
hidden away,
thank you.
I literally like, hey Rimsha, stop buying it. I got this.
Just
I
keep it
have
stash.
I have a hidden stash for Neha now.
I love you
Literally,
guys.
I'm
You
not even
guys are
joking.
special. I honestly don't think anyone else has ever made me feel that special.
Think about
This
that.
is amazing.
You literally have water storage at our house.
I know. It's so
And I'm
great.
not even joking. It's literally only for you.
Hey,
I
that's a
love
flex.
this.
That's a flex.
Honestly, who could ask for better friends in the world?
I mean, I don't even know if you knew that we had that.
I know that you guys don't drink Fiji water
We
and
don't?
that it's here for me. I know that this is only here for me, and that's
and I was like,
beautiful.
hey, Rimsha, we don't need to keep buying Fiji anymore. She can drink other water.
now
Now,
you want it.
now that
You
you,
probably-
now
yeah,
that,
now you
now
bought
that
into it.
now that I know that you've had this conversation,
No, really. Could you imagine
No.
we get a divorce because of this?
I'm just sitting there in the corner quietly
Just sipping
sipping
your
my
Fiji.
Like, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Kyra Snobby.
Neha, look what you
Auntie
did.
Neha ruined your life.
The Fiji water
The
bottle.
Fiji water, man.
It's become a sticking point. On that note, thank you guys both for joining us. It was honestly a fun conversation. Hopefully we can have you guys both on again.
Yes,
This
sir.
is, I think, a one-time situation.
No.
All right, well, that's it for the Fresh Eye Podcast. Thank you guys all for joining us. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Thank you. X gonna give it to you. Seems like a good dude.